Thank you for staying here on the Joy News channel. Before I came to you with the headlines, we brought you live feed from the former Alisa Hotel, now the Swiss Spirit Hotel, where the GII is organizing a roundtable discussion on the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Let me take you back there where Dr. Oduro-San is speaking on the media and the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
What we can do is work as media to remind politicians of their promise. That's the first one. Two, to push them against the wall to deliver on their promise. Urge all the media house journalists gathered here to go back and then look at the NPP manifesto again, especially on this provision. Thirdly, I would expect that we have other existing laws. The Whistleblowers Act is there. We have other laws in this country. We have not been able to operationalize them. The office is important, I must admit, but I am concerned when it comes to operationalizing the office. Are we going to set up another bureaucracy? How are we going to have this particular officer appointed? What is going to be the conditions of appointment in office and after office? Are we going to do selective application or selective prosecution of crimes? Are we going to target only politicians? Are we going to categorize the various crimes that this office can prosecute as against the ones that the other officers of the Attorney General's Department can prosecute? Are we going to do a clear separation and segregation of duties to prevent conflict between the office and the DPP, as well as the Attorney General? Looking at other countries, I think from what our brother presented, they've been able to make it, especially the Kenyan model. However, our jurisdictional circumstances practically different from the Kenyan case. We have very enlightened media. We have enlightened Ghanaians. Our democracy is growing. I would expect that the acts that the NPP wants to develop, set up this office, makes a clear provision on the role of the media. In one, putting the office on their toes. Two, being given adequate and credible information as far as prosecuting of cases are concerned. Three, making sure that there is a structure that practically involves the media from the initiation of the prosecution up to the end of the prosecution, so that the public interest can be properly safeguarded. Last but not the least, let me also say that this office, for this office to be truly independent, is going to be very difficult because of the majority in Parliament and the fact that they continue to operate with the majority having their way and the minority having their say. We can raise the bar. Yesterday we were discussing it, that can't we raise the bar for us to require 2/3 majority, absolute majority of Parliament to approve this appointment? But then someone would have to initially appoint this person. Are we going to advertise it to allow people, qualified people, to put in their applications? Are we going to allow the Public Services Commission to be involved? When we know in this country that certain technical positions in the civil service are, as it were, or have been politicized, we can take it or leave it. Go to the various ministries, chief directors, as it were. So where do we draw the line? The view is that the media, let us put the government on its toes. The media, let us move towards ensuring that we open up the position. We should advertise it in the papers. Let us take the Public Services Commission out. If I have my way, I would say that we should set up an independent recruitment committee to include the media, so that the transparency starts from day one, the recruitment process. We can even take Parliament out of this and make the office truly a public office. Let me also say that the media, we have a role to police the system. We have a role to uncover the rot and the corrupt activities that can help the office, if established as required, to be able to do its work. As the media, we have a duty or a role to investigate, to conduct research, and always do a comparative analysis that brings out the best for our country. As media, we have a lot of information. The politician is always afraid of the media, I can tell you, because you can make and unmake the politicians. We should not allow them to have their way. We want the position to be truly independent. However, we want the office to work with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Odrosai. And he just stuck to the time. I can't believe that he did 10 minutes. Thank you once again. By that expression, I mean I'm expecting that you guys will follow suit. But I can anticipate, for example, Justice Sramsai, who recently was a convener of a forum at Gimpa Law on a similar subject, that he has too much to share, and 10 minutes, once again, will be so unconscionable for his use. He could even sue us for giving him 10 minutes to deal on this issue. Okay, he says exactly. Now, I'm supposed to moderate and at the same time also share some views on this issue. In the meantime, what I choose to do, as it is my time to speak, is to cede that time to the rest of the speakers. When they are done, there's still some time. What I'll simply do is to help my colleagues in the media to raise certain questions. That is, if those questions escape your mind. Now, let's therefore welcome Justice Sramsai. He's a lecturer at Gimpa Law, that is the law faculty at Gimpa. He's been at the forefront of a number of things at the Gimpa Law by way of convening the Accra Dialogue, for example, that recently debated or discussed very thoroughly with views from Dr. Dominic Ayine, Dr. Raymond Atuguba, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, and a few others on this very subject. Again, it is instructive to note that Justice Sramsai has the benefit of interacting with society outside of this country by his training in Harvard and other places, where he has come face to face with the solutions that we may have or need to fight corruption. Now, let's welcome him, his views on the Special Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you very much, Samson. And again, we thank God for your life. Friends Against Corruption, good afternoon. You know, let me just say that in this country, we often tend we pretend that everything that is happening here is new. So we always go around looking for solutions when there are already solutions elsewhere that we can just pick. So we always behave as though we have what it takes to invent the wheel, and we waste a lot of time and resources, having discussion on issues, the solution to which are already elsewhere that we can copy. And you could see from our colleagues' presentation that this is not a new issue. But we don't even need to go far. Do you know that in 1954, under the 1954 Constitution of this republic, that is immediately before independence, the Attorney General was never part of the executive or was never part of government. It was provided in that Constitution that the Attorney General would be a public officer and had no connection with the executive. In fact, the Minister for Justice, the only interaction the minister had with the Attorney General was to simply take questions from Parliament and then from the Attorney General to Parliament, and then from Parliament to the Attorney General, and that was it. And that is in line with what was actually practiced in the UK. Like our colleague said, in the UK from the beginning, the Attorney General was part of Parliament, it was part of a cabinet and everything. Then it got to a point where the problem that we are experiencing today came up, and since then, the Attorney General has never been part of cabinet. 1957 Constitution, which was the independence constitution of this republic, maintained that position where the Attorney General was a public servant. Then we ask ourselves, what happened? How did we get here with this provision where we say Attorney General shall be a Minister of State and a principal advisor to government and a member of cabinet? How did we get here? It all started in the Republican Constitution, the 1960 Constitution. In fact, if you look at the provisions from 1960, 1969, 1979 Constitution, and the 1992 Constitution, it's the same wording, word for word. There has not been any change. Now, why are we pretending that, let's even put aside Kenya, let's put aside Jamaica. Why are we here today pretending that we have a new problem and then we have to use some new mechanism to solve it? I believe that for corruption, if you ask me today, do you support the special prosecutor agenda? Of course, I would say yes, because as far as I'm concerned, anything against corruption is better. So if you ask me, should we all become prosecutors, I would say yes. Anything against corruption must be what? Supported. So on that principle, I would support the special prosecutor, position. However, if you are making policy for the governance of a country, you are looking at one critical thing, which is durability and sustainability of policy. Now, how durable would it be to have a special prosecutor through an act of parliament? First and straightforward point of view, which I know all of you know, is that any government which is not in favor will repeal the act, and that is the end of the special prosecutor. So that's the first one. The second one has to do with independence, which my learned friend underlined. See, the whole problem is about the independence of this prosecutor. So anything that will not make the prosecutor truly independent, we must look at that approach with a lot of suspicion. Now, if we are going to have the independent prosecutor, which power is he going to exercise? The independent prosecutor is going to exercise the power in Article 88, which says that Attorney General is the only person who may prosecute people in the name of the Republic. Now, if he's going to exercise that power, of course, Article 88 also provides that the Attorney General may delegate the power to another person. So, the Attorney General has always been delegating this power. In fact, the Ghana police can prosecute, Yoko is prosecuting, Senate is prosecuting, so the delegation is not new. So, delegating it to someone called special prosecutor is another delegation which may not necessarily, in terms of constitutional law and principle, be different from what we already have in the system. So, how are we going to achieve this independence? Let me give you a flavor of what has been happening around, the globe. There is something called...
So that's Justice Sam Shramsai there speaking on the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And he's been saying that in this country we waste a lot of time discussing issues or looking out for solutions to problems that have already been solved elsewhere. And he thinks that this is not new, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and even went to talk about the fact that the Attorney General never used to be a member of cabinet or was not appointed by a president until 1961. The Constitution, the Republican Constitution, gave it that power. And he says that anything against corruption must be supported, and so he supports the Office of the Special Prosecutor. However, he questions its sustainability and durability. Before him, Dr. Odrosai spoke on the relationship of the media and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and he thinks that the media has a lot to do in terms of keeping that Special Prosecutor's office on its toes. And he said the Office of the Special Prosecutor must have structures that supports the media and that make it easy for the media to have information on cases and their updates. So away from that, 13 members of the Delta Force pro-MPP vigilante group who were forcibly released by their colleagues during a court hearing in Kumasi yesterday have turned themselves in to the police. A statement issued by the police this morning indicated the individuals are currently in the custody of police for further investigations and subsequent prosecution. Let me take you through some extracts of that statement briefly. Now, the accused persons who were arraigned before the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Circuit Court presided over by Justice May Sechere and had been remanded into custody for 2 weeks, had escaped after pandemonium broke out of the court. They have reported themselves to the police and are currently in police custody. The police wish to state that in the course of the confusion, the presiding judge was hurriedly taken speculated by some media that was under police protection, and they're saying that she was under police protection, and the Regional Police Command once again wishes to assure the general public that the service shall continue to ensure law and order within the region, and they're saying any act of lawlessness shall not be countenanced, and anyone who flouts the law will be dealt with as prescribed by the law. Let's go live now to Kumasi and speak to my colleague Erastus Asare-Donkor, who has some updates on those arrested so far. Hello, Erastus. Now, we know that the 13 people who escaped turned themselves in yesterday. 8 of those who helped them to escape were arrested. When we spoke to the police PRO of the region, ASP Nketia, but he stated that they were on a hunt for others who helped the 13 escape. What are the updates on that?
Well, I'm here with ASP Nketia, but let me ask him the same question before I continue with the update on this whole issue. So we want to find out, ASP, what is the situation at the moment? Have all of them turned themselves in? I mean, the 13?
Yes, they have turned themselves in, and they are cooperating with our judicial system. They started their remand. In fact, they started last night on their return to custody. About 8 who were arrested for aiding them to escape in the commotion at the court, that is the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Circuit Court, are also in custody, being...
What is the effort to arrest other members of those who stormed the court and released them?
It is on. But we have to, as one has to exercise patience in the sense that we, like how yesterday, in fact, yesterday's event was a nice one that even we wanted to finish before we informed the general public. It's very unfortunate that happened that way. So we leave it on when anything comes up, we give it to the media.
So you're confident that at least you will round up at least a half of those people who stormed the court premises?
Yeah, they are on it. Definitely, because law and breakers of law, if the first person offends, you don't punish him or her, how can you punish the subsequent one? You will not have the moral justification. We know all those things. We not today we started this job. We've done it here and even other people's countries for them. Well, why can't we do it in our own? So we currently have trust in us Ghanaians. We are assuring you of doing what the law expects and requires of us.
So that's ASP Nketia Yeboah. He's the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer. But Ben is at the court. I'm just from the court premises. Court resumed sitting today. It was totally empty except for some litigants and some few accused persons. The judge came in a bit late, around 10:25. After giving out some dates, she just closed court and left. So it was just brief for about an hour.
All right, Erastus, but when we spoke to you at 10 a.m., you were trying to reach traditional authorities to pick their thoughts on this development. Have you been able to reach any of them?
In fact, I am learning that a youth group called Kuya is set to petition the Kumasi Traditional Council to respond to what happened yesterday at the court. And so that is currently what is happening. But all the chiefs who form the Traditional Council are tight-lipped on this particular issue. We've been trying some contacts. It looks like we'll have to wait a little bit longer. But let me chip in this, that I was there when the remand warrants were signed and the investigator took them away. And so we are sure that they will be starting their remand sentences as we speak.
Right, thank you very much for those updates. Erastus Asarodongo is our man in Kumasi. Still on this issue, the National Youth Organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party, Samir Wuku, has described acts of vigilante groups associated with the party as despicable. Speaking to constituency youth organizers of the New Patriotic Party in Wa, he said the behavior of the Delta Force in Kumasi yesterday is alien to the NPP and called on the youth of the party to desist from such acts. Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
National Youth Organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Semi Oku's message to constituency youth organizers of the party in the Upper West region was simple and short. It is to give confidence and to assure the youth of the party that President Nana Akufo-Addo has not forgotten of them and that they should ignore the propaganda churned out by the opposition National Democratic Congress.
Forget about the provocation in the district and the constituencies by other NDC people. Because sometimes you see some of them holding jobs whilst we are still in government. They are provoking you. We are determined not to do debit and credit, that you sack them and bring in new people. We are determined to create more jobs so that our people will get more jobs.
He, however, expressed concern over the actions of vigilante group affiliated with the MPP Delta Force in Kumasi, which he described as despicable.
What happened in Kumasi is despicable. It's not our character to encourage that. And what has happened this afternoon today in relation to the Delta Force is not proper.
You're watching Joy News Today with me, Bernice Abu Baidu. We'll take a quick breather. We'll bring you more stories after. This is Joy News Today with me, Bernice Abu Baidu. The GII is organizing a roundtable discussion on the office of the Special Prosecutor. We took you there earlier, and a lot of concerns have been raised about how sustainable the office will be. Let me take you back there because Inus Afuseni, former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, is speaking on the matter.
All over the world to deal with specific matters of national importance. That appears to be the beginning of the thinking of appointing somebody outside government to deal with matters that affect them. And he had to deal with the Watergate scandal. The request request for the submission of tapes led to the dismissal of the special prosecutor.
Apologies for the loss in feed earlier. We'll try and establish the lines and take you back to the Swiss Hotel, Swiss Spirit Hotel, former Alisa Hotel, where the GII is organizing a roundtable discussion on the office of the special prosecutor. Away from that, depression is the leading cause of ill health and disability worldwide. According to the latest estimates from the World Health Organization, more than 300 million people are now living with depression, an increase of more than 18% between 2005 and 2015. Lack of support for people with mental disorders coupled with a fear of stigma prevent many from accessing the treatment they need to live healthy, productive lives. The new estimate was released in the lead up to the World Health Day, which falls on today, April 7. The theme for the World Health Organization's year-long campaign is Depression, Let's Talk. The overall goal of the campaign is to get people with depression across the world to both seek and get help. So my colleague Mapito Sabidi stepped out to find out from people whether they know what depression really is and if they can identify someone with it.
I think depression has to do with you feeling that kind of lonely, a bit disconnected from the world. You know, you become so lonely because of certain pressures. Probably it could be financial, it could be educational, it could even be relationship. And then I think going forward, what we need to do, we need to have more counselors, and even in universities, and then even in all aspects or everywhere, so that people can go in at any point in time and then stick to, even at workplaces, in the banks and all that, with the pressure and all going on, they should have special counselors who would even talk to them and then, you know, cool down and all that. And then people should be open to a lot of friends as well, because one problem shared is a problem solved.
The way to handle depression is to talk to people, to talk to others about your problem, that you get them out of you. Or you go out, you hang out with friends, and you become free at least. When you stay indoors, it weighs down on you, and then you can commit suicide, you can't control yourself, and then you go out of hand.
You will be down, but life still have to go on. So whatever is holding you, you have to forget and think about your life and know that there are some better days ahead. So you have to forget everything and move on. So depression, in fact, is very painful for one to be in depression. It's very painful. But you must also know that your life values more than anything, more than the word depression itself. So you have to handle everything for the value of your life. Yeah, that's how I managed to control my own.
If I remember those things, I'll just take a book to read or something to read or something to do, which will make me forget those type of things. Because if you are sitting there, when you are thinking, you still remember those things, and you'll be wondering and you'll be what? Either to go and kill yourself or do something, but so you just do something, and that you remember, you forget those things. That's all.
Well, we have Dr. Aku Hayford joining us on the telephone. She is a clinical psychologist to help us understand depression better. Good afternoon, Dr. Hayford, and thank you for joining us. What does it mean to be depressed, and what are some of the signs and symptoms of depression?
Good afternoon. I'm not yet a doctor. I'm Aku Hayford.
All right.
But what is depression? It's a mood disorder. It's generally something we call a mood disorder, and it's characterized by feelings of sadness. Some people feel anger, some people feel emotionless, etc. I mean, it's a weird feeling. It's like your life is meaningless more than.
All right, so are there types of depression, and who is likely to be depressed?
Oh, There are different types. There's a bipolar depression, there's unipolar depression. There are different kinds and types based on the source or the reason why the depression has come into force.
Well, I'm told depression is more prevalent in women than in men. Is that true? And if it is, why is that the case?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because apart from the normal causes of depression, there are some situations that lead to women getting depressed, like childbirth. You know, so in that case, definitely men wouldn't experience it because of the hormonal changes that we go through. Some women get depressed shortly after giving birth. That aside, women are seen as more emotional than men on the whole. So then it so happens that in a lot of cases, you may find women more depressed than men. Again, you would say, for example, that women tend to keep a lot of things within themselves than men, so that the man may shout and then get over it.
Sure. All right.
Whereas the woman.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. But before you go, do children also get depressed? And how can parents know?
Yes, children get depressed because sometimes it's genetic. And when it's genetic, it means you were born with it or somebody in your family has it. And therefore, it's come down the line. But parents would know based on the child's way of doing things. The child may be isolated most of the time, may not want to talk to people, may have sleep problems, doesn't sleep well, may look tired all the while, etc. And these are a few things that you can pick up and say that maybe this child may have an issue of depression, and therefore trying to find out whether they really do.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to end it here. Thank you for your time. That's Aku Hayford speaking on depression. Today's World Health Day, and that is the focus of the day. You're watching Joy News Today.